Welcome to Ask Shannon, a place for grace, where one mother's passion and determination for her child, diagnosed with a rare disease, was suddenly faced with saving the life of her special needs child. This became her only focus. When the life of her child was threatened, Shannon Kinnett's instincts led her away from conventional medicine. She desperately found an alternative, natural approach, and the outcome was astounding. Shannon shares her knowledge and Grace's story, now full of hope and happiness.
And now, Shannon Kinnett's.
One of the questions that parents will come up to me and ask me a lot is, Shannon, do you think that my child's going to have the benefits like Grace has with hyperbaric oxygen therapy? And that's always a tough question for me to answer because I have been so blessed in the improvements that I've had with Grace with hyperbaric therapy. But one thing I will tell a parent is this, is that you have to try. I can't guarantee that hyperbarics is going to have the same effect on your child as it has on Grace. However, across the board, when I get letters and emails and calls from parents, they all are seeing their kids and their loved ones improving with hyperbaric therapy. The best thing that you can do for yourself so that you continue to move forward with helping your loved one is to not compare. And believe me, I'm one of those people that in the beginning, I compared everything. I remember when I first started hyperbarics, all I wanted was for Grace to know me. That was the biggest thing, is I wanted her to know that she had a mom that loved her, a sister that loved her, so that I could let her go. I had no idea that I was going to get everything that I got from hyperbarics, but I wanted that one thing. I wanted her to look at me and know that she was loved in the short amount of time that she was supposed to be here. For us, it was amazing. You know, I got my daughter back. My older daughter got her sister back. And so it was amazing for us. But try not to compare. Even though I know it's really hard, you have to really live in the moment. And unfortunately, when you start to compare things, in anything in life, in any walk of life, when you compare yourself to the neighbors, when you compare yourself to your brothers or your sisters, it's difficult to move forward. It's difficult to live in the moment because all you're thinking about is what you don't have when you're doing comparison. And so I tell parents all the time, don't compare. Write a list of the things that you wished for your own child. What I did is exactly that. I wrote a list. I did have kids in mind. I remember this little boy who was walking, and even though he was like wobbly and walking on his tiptoes, I'm like, man, if Grace could just do that one day, So I would write these things down and be like, I would love to have these things. And those things were the things that I strive for and that I kept working towards and kept doing hyperbarics for. And it gave it to me. But it didn't keep me in that pit of the stomach feeling sorry for myself and comparing everything, because it is so easy. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's simple, because it's not. I have nieces that are close to my girl's age, and when they hit their milestones and Grace didn't hit her milestones, it was tough. It was really, really hard not to compare. And when you're going through treatment and you're sitting in a waiting room and you're doing the exact same treatment that somebody else is doing, and they're coming out there and they're so excited that they just heard their child say mama for the first time after getting out of a chamber, and you're sitting there and you still haven't gotten that, it's going to come. Your time will come. Don't feel sad. Don't feel negative for that person that's coming out, because when you do that, it just kind of gives you bad karma. And I just kind of believe that, be happy for those around you that are seeing the improvements, and know that you're on the right track, because if it can happen for them, why can't it happen for you? And that's how I felt about Grace. Grace did hyperbarics for a long time. Yes, we saw improvements within that first few weeks, but when we started to see those improvements, what do you think I wanted? I saw kids walking. I wanted her to walk. I did not want to continue to feed her with a feeding tube. I wanted her to see me. I wanted her to see what I looked like. She was blind, and I just wanted that so bad. And when I got stuck in that thing where I wanted it, and I compared it to the next child that I met in the waiting room, or parent that I met on the internet talking about our kids, that only brought me down. So don't try to compare your kids in any therapy that you do. Mark where they're at in that moment. Live that moment. Live for the future. Hyperbarics is a tricky thing because it helps people of all ages, of all walks of life, at all different times. Some people can see improvements in 2 treatments. I've had stroke patients that within like 10 treatments have written me and said, I came in with my walker and I left not using my walker after 10 treatments. I've had parents that have children with autism say after one treatment they were driving in their car and her son said, Mama, look at the bluebird. And she like almost like crashed her car because she's like, who's just said that? So, some things Grace didn't get right away and I saw other people getting them, but you just have to continue to work through it. Try not to compare. I do think hyperbarics helps in even the littlest of ways. And one thing I think is really important for us to know as parents is the detail, because sometimes we don't see those big gains. Like I saw big gains with Grace within those first 2 weeks. Some parents won't. But if you write things down, I remember a parent telling me, I just haven't seen much from hyperbarics. And I'm like, really? Because we were staying at the same hotel and we were keeping the same journals. I said, on the third treatment, you told me that Joshua slept through the night, and he had not slept through the night ever. So like those little things are really important to keep in mind. So when you're trying to do the comparison, it's not wrong for you to want what you see somebody else having. That's somewhat of a comparison, but it is a problem if you're going to sit and not do something to push that comparison forward. So it's different for everybody. I do feel that, children are going to get better, adults are going to get better with hyperbaric therapy. And, there's some positiveness in comparison because it motivates you, because you want your loved one to do what the other people are doing. But in reality, when it comes to hyperbarics, it can affect you at any different time, at any different stage along the way. So try to stay away from the comparisons. Know that you're doing the right thing, getting that oxygen into the cells, getting it dissolved, improving the injury where it happened, and just getting forward with what you're doing is what's going to get you motivated and get you where you need to be with your loved one.
Please share this information with anyone who is facing special needs or health concerns at any age. Shannon's goal is to help as many people and parents as possible. If she can save you any heartache sharing the knowledge of what she has learned, that saved her daughter's life and possibly save you tens to even hundreds of thousands of dollars in resources that she spent, her goal is accomplished. Please visit shannonandgrace.com for continued updates and free resources. Send her an email with your questions. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. She is here to help you and will do all she can to assist.